Most welcome students in KB Upper Camp online classes. This beginning the one of the very interesting topic, the Indian Constitution, why and how. We will starting with class 11th NCERT focusing on why there was need for constitution to be formed, what was major steps that was taken of the Indian Constitution and its formation. So let's for talk about what is constitution and need for constitution. A constitution is a written set of laws and fundamental principles to develop a relationship between the people and government which comprises a number of articles about state. We can say that it is a rule book. It is a fundamental rule book and basic rule of the country. Why do we need a constitution? To provide a set of basic rules to allow minimal coordination amongst the members of a society. It means large number of people live together in India. The people of India are diverse in various ways. They have different religious allegiance. Some are Hindus, some are Muslim, some Christians, and some perhaps profess no religion at all. They are also varied in many different respects. They pursue different professions, have different abilities, have different hobbies, different tastes in everything from films to books. Some are rich and some are poor, some are old, some young. Imagine further that members of this group are likely to have disputes over various aspects of life. How much property should one be allowed to own? Should it be compulsory that every child be sent to school, or should the parents be allowed to decide? How much should this group spend on its safety and security? Or should it build more parks instead? Should the group be allowed to discriminate against some of its members? Every question will elicit a variety of answers from different people. But for all their diversity, this group has to live together. They are dependent upon each other in various ways. They require the cooperation of each other. What will enable the group to live together peacefully? One may say that perhaps members of this group can live together if they can agree on some basic rules. Why will the group need certain basic rules? These rules must not only be known, they must also be enforceable. If citizens have no assurance that others will follow these rules, they will themselves have no reason to follow these rules. Saying that the rules are legally enforceable gives an assurance to everybody that others will follow these. For if they do not do so, they will be punished. So we can say that is to provide a set of basic rules to allow minimal coordination amongst the members of a society. Second one is to specify how the government would be constituted and how has power to make decision in the society. It means who gets to decide what the laws will be. In principle, these questions, who gets to decide, can be answered in many ways. In a monarchical constitution, a monarch decide. In some constitution, like the old Soviet Union, one single party was given the power to decide. But in democratic constitution, broadly speaking, the people get to decide. But this matter is not so simple, because even if you answer that the people should decide, it will not answer the question, how should the people decide? For something to be law, should everyone agree to it? Should the people directly vote on each matter as the ancient Greeks did? Or should the people express their preference by electing representatives? But if the people act through their representatives, how should these representatives be elected? How many should there be? For example, Indian Parliament gets to decide laws and policy through elected representatives who are elected by people of India, and that parliament itself be organized in a particular manner. Who has the authority to enact it? If parliament has the authority to enact laws, there must be law that bestows this authority on parliament in the first place, to lay some limitations on government's power by guaranteeing rights to the citizen. Constitution limits the power of government in many ways. The most common way of limiting the power of government is to specify certain fundamental rights that all of us possess as citizens and which no government can ever be allowed to violate. The exact content and interpretation of these rights varies from constitution to constitution, but most constitutions will protect a basic cluster of rights. Citizens will be protected from being arrested arbitrarily and for no reason. This is one basic limitation upon the power of government. Citizens will normally have the right to some basic liberties, to freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, freedom of association, freedom to conduct a trade or business, etc. In practice, these rights can be limited during times of national emergency, and the Constitution specifies the circumstances under which these rights may be withdrawn. To enable the government to fulfill aspirations of society and create conditions for a just society. For example, in India aspires to be a society that is free of caste discrimination. If this is our society's aspiration, the government will have to be enabled or empowered to take all the necessary steps to achieve the goals. The farmers of Indian Constitution, for example, thought that each individual in society should have all that is necessary for them to lead a life of minimal dignity and social self-respect, minimum material well-being, education, etc. The Indian Constitution enables the government to take positive welfare measures, some of which are legally enforceable. As we go on studying the Indian Constitution, we shall find that such enabling provisions have the support of the preamble to our Constitution, and these provisions are found in the section on fundamental rights, the directive principle of state of policy, also enjoin government to fulfill certain aspirations of the people, to express the fundamental identity of people. For example, German identity was constituted by being ethnically German. The Constitution gave expression to this identity. The Indian Constitution, on the other hand, does not make ethnic identity a criterion for citizenship. Different nations embody different conceptions of what the relationship between the different regions of nation and central government should be. This relationship constitutes the national identity of a country. That's all for today. We will discuss remaining part of the chapter in next video. Thank you.